21-year-old prisoner is thrown into a prison where law has no existence, only power reigns. Here, every prisoner defines his identity by blood. As soon as he steps inside, all the inmates become his enemies. But they have no idea that the boy they are encountering is actually going to be their undoing. Now, the story begins with a police van carrying some prisoners straight to a terrifying prison in China. This is no ordinary prison. It houses only extremely dangerous criminals. Any prisoner who appears weak here is immediately put to death. On the same day, some new prisoners are also brought in, including a 21-year-old boy named Riki. He was sent here because he brutally murdered a man. Riki was sentenced to 10 years, but due to his young age, he was only supposed to serve 5 years in this prison. As soon as Riki passes through the metal detector, an alarm immediately sounds. The guards stop him and conduct a thorough check, but they find nothing. Despite this, the machine continuously signals that there is a metal object in his body. Therefore, the guards take him to the X-ray machine. As soon as the scan is done, everyone's eyes widen as they discover not 1, but 5 bullets lodged in his chest. The guards are astonished at how a man is standing perfectly still despite having so many bullets embedded in his body. When asked why he didn't have them removed, Riki calmly replies that the bullets are part of his strength, so he allowed them to remain. It is then shown that the prison is divided into 4 separate sections, each controlled by a dangerous prisoner. These 4 are the rulers of their respective areas, doing whatever they please and punishing whomever they please. The leader of each block refuses to allow anyone to breathe without his permission. Every corner of the prison is filled with oppression, fear, and bloodshed. As soon as morning arrives, all the prisoners are busy with their respective tasks. Just then, a prisoner named Samuel, the leader of the West Block, arrives. Upon his arrival, he begins brutally beating an elderly prisoner, Ving, for disobeying him. Wing has spent his entire life in this prison and now has no hope of escape into him. He knows he can't survive among these cruel people for much longer, Hattie. So he makes a small toy for his son as a last gift. But then Samuel snatches it from him. Ving desperately demands his toy back, having made it with great effort. But Samuel brutally hits him over the head with the toy, sending it crashing to the ground and shattering it into pieces. He then threatens to kill him if he ever defies him again. Hearing this, Wing is devastated and a fire of revenge ignites in his heart and irons. He picks up the broken toy and tries to attack Samuel. But Samuel's men block his path. Seizing this opportunity, Samuel attacks him again and wounds him. Hearing Wing's screams, the guard arrives. But instead of saving him, he leaves, allowing Samuel to continue his assault. Samuel is advancing with his men when Riki suddenly intervenes and kicks him in the leg. Samuel's face falls onto sharp nails, and one of the nails punctures his eye. His companion tries to attack Riki, but the terrifying look in Riki's eyes frightens them all and they flee. Samuel survives but loses one eye. Now consumed by intense anger and a desire for revenge, he desires to kill Riki at all costs. Meanwhile, his men advise him to seek the help of Mad Dragon, the most dangerous prisoner in the prison. He is so powerful that he can single-handedly kill anyone. Currently, he is locked in a dark dungeon by the warden because he recently killed a prisoner. Meanwhile, Samuel conspires with a guard. He tells Wing that his sentence has been extended. The guard approaches Wing and tells him that his release has been cancelled and he will have to remain in prison for another 20 years. Hearing this, Wing is devastated, knowing he cannot live that long and that Samuel will surely kill him. He begs the guards for mercy, but they kill him and leave. By nightfall, Wing ends his life by hanging himself. News of his death spreads throughout the prison, and Riki also learns that the person he helped is no longer alive. Riki arrives as the guards are carrying away his body. Seeing Wing's handcuffs, he tells the guards to free him. Then he breaks them himself. The guards are astonished at how someone could break such strong handcuffs. Riki then takes out the toy Samuel broke and repairs. He places it on Wing's body to give his soul some peace. Seeing Wing's death, Riki's anger flares up once again, and he resolves to take revenge on Samuel at all costs. The next morning, all the prisoners come to bathe. While Riki is bathing, Samuel comes and stares at him, and just then, the inmate Matt Dragon arrives. He punches him in the face, sending Riki flying like a balloon and falling into a corner. But Riki springs up like a storm and punches him in the stomach with such force that his stomach bursts open. Akinodam exists open, killing him instantly. Seeing this, Samuel takes a nail and thrusts it straight into Riki's hand. Riki then breaks all his fingers like a matchstick. It was time for Riki to take revenge, and he seized the opportunity and punched Samuel straight through the stomach, finally finishing him off. The prisoners standing nearby are stunned by this. Meanwhile, guards arrive and take him away. Just then, Naromi, a prisoner who is the leader of North Block, approaches him. He had come to instill fear in Riki, but when he saw Matt Dragon killed by Riki, he asks him to be his friend like a rat, ETV. But Riki leaves without a word. He is locked up in a cell where the most dangerous prisoners are kept, just like Matt Dragon was before Kana. That's why he too was put in this cell. But then, he begins to feel pain in his chest, and a flashback is shown to him both when he was a student and his parents had already passed away. Already passed away. He arrives at his parents' grave and finds his master, Jang, who trained him in martial arts as a child. The master asks him to demonstrate his strength, but as soon as he attacks, he knocks him down with a single blow. The master tells him, "You haven't fully mastered yourself yet. You still have a gap that needs to be filled." That's why the master begins training him that very day. He tells Riki that first, he must control his mind. Then he must remove all anger and hatred from his mind. The master places a stone in front of him and tells him to control his mind and break it. Riki, controlling himself, tears the stone like paper. Seeing this, the master rains stones down on him. Riki also tears them apart like a hurricane. Finally, the master picks up the largest stone and throws it directly at his chest. But Riki easily breaks it. The master realizes that Riki has completely mastered his temper and no longer needs any further training. The scene then shifts, showing Riki sitting in his cell. A guard arrives and tells him that the assistant warden has summoned him. He is then brought directly to the assistant warden, whose table is laden with food. He was missing one arm, so he had replaced it with a two-pronged hook, and he was eating from that hook. The warden asked the guard to read Riki's report. The guard reads his report, revealing that Riki was an orphan. He had no parents and had lived in an orphanage since childhood. He was expelled from school because he would grab someone and start beating them. Consequently, he enrolled in a music college where he learned to play the flute. At a young age, he even joined a gang and killed a man. This is why he was brought to this prison. Hearing this, the warden approaches him and asks, "How did you get 5 bullets in your chest?" But Riki smiles and refuses to answer. The warden then shows him a photograph of Riki's friend. When Riki reaches out to take it, the warden thrusts a hook into his hand and repeatedly punches him. The warden tries to force him to open his mouth, but Riki spits in his face. Enraged, the warden crushes the photograph, making Riki's blood boil, and he breaks the table in two. Seeing this, the warden cowers in a corner, like a cat. Riki was about to punch him, but he controlled his anger and left. That night, Riki sat in his cell staring at the same photograph, deeply saddened. It was of his friend, Qigong, whom he had once lived happily ever after. But since prison, his life has become like a dog's. To calm himself, he plays the same flute he used to play with his friend. But then a guard comes and forbids him from playing it again. The next day, when Samuel's lackey emerges from his cell, some prisoners chase him because he was the one who caused Wing's death. They are now seeking revenge for Wing's death. They are about to slash him with a sharp sword, but then the same prisoner, Naromi, appears. He refuses to kill them, saying that if he is killed, their sentences will be increased. They could even face the death penalty, but a prisoner named Wang becomes angry at him and asks, "Where were you when we were being oppressed, Toit? Why didn't you help us then? And now when it's our turn, why did you leave him alive?" He says we shouldn't let him live. We must finish him off. Hearing this, Naromi becomes enraged and takes the same sharp sword and slits his mouth in half, leaving him writhing in agony. The warden standing above is overjoyed to see him and says, "I didn't expect this from you, but now you've made me happy." The warden drags his corpse away, holding a sharp hook in his mouth. That same day, the warden summons Nakota, quote, Quarencente, and hands him a weapon, saying, quote, "Just as you killed Wong, you must now kill Riki." Hearing this, Naromi is perplexed. Wong was a normal prisoner, so he killed him easily. But Riki is no ordinary prisoner. If he messes with Riki, he'll tear him apart like a dragon. But it was the warden's order, so he complies. After this, Naromi comes to the prison ground. There, he had Wong chained and hung from a frame so that the sight of his writhing body would instill fear in the hearts of the other prisoners, preventing anyone from ever daring to stand against him again. Riki is devastated. Meanwhile, Naromi attacks him, and a fierce fight ensues. He kicks him, but Naromi throws crushed glass into his eyes, rendering him completely blind. He can't see anything. Taking advantage of this, Naromi stabs him in the arm, causing him to fall. But Riki discovers a water pipeline. He quickly breaks the pipe, causing a gush of water to gush out. He washes his eyes, transforming into a dangerous storm once again. Then he slaps him on the head so hard that his eye falls out like a sliver. Meanwhile, the warden arrives, and seeing Naromi fall, his mouth drops open. Riki quickly pulls his nerves together, readying himself for another attack. But Naromi gives up and plunges a knife straight into his stomach. But this is his trick. As soon as Riki approaches him, he pulls out his intestines and wraps them around Riki's neck. But Riki picks him up and punches him in the head, shattering all his bones, ending his life bowing majosi. Riki then lowers Wong's body, but it's too late and Wong is dead. Seeing this, Riki tells all the prisoners that the warden is responsible for this innocent man's death and kill him, they say. All the prisoners attack him. But then 3 leaders arrive, Che, Kitama, and Brandon. The warden challenges Riki to defeat these 3 if he has the courage. But Riki says nothing, picks up Wong's body, and leaves. The warden offers him, "I want to make you the leader of the North Cell." But Riki refuses, saying he doesn't want to be anyone's slave. He's completely broken because his comrades died because of him, and a boy sitting in the distance watches Riki. When Riki plays a tune on his belt, the boy also tries, but can't. Then Riki goes over and teaches him. But he starts crying, and when he opens his mouth, it's revealed that half of his tongue is cut off. This intensifies Riki's anger against the warden. Riki gives him his flute, and he's happy. In return, he gives Riki some leaves. But Riki is suspicious because the leaves were used to make drugs, and the block leaders were actually making money selling them. The boy explains that the leaves came from West Block. Furthermore, the girl who was the leader of West Block is watching from the side. The warden also finds out and becomes angry with the guards. Then he learns that the real warden is coming tomorrow. Hearing this, he is horrified. Riki loses his courage. But he remembers his master's words, "When you're about to lose, never let your enemy realize your true strength. Convince him that you're defeated and then attack with all your might at once." At once, Riki does the same and prepares to fight again. But then Brandon arrives and attacks with a rope with sharp spikes. He attacks relentlessly, piercing Riki's body. Just then, Kitama arrives and grabs him. He's about to kill him when an alarm sounds, telling everyone to go into their cells, and anyone who doesn't will be shot. But Kitama too refuses to listen and refuses to stop until he takes revenge on Riki. So the guards open fire on him, and everyone flees on the spot. Kitama brings Riki inside a cell. As soon as they enter, the door closes, and cement begins to pour in from both sides, nearly freezing them to death. This was the warden's plan. The warden was determined to finish Riki off at any cost. But Riki breaks the door on the spot and breaks free and pulls Kitama out. The warden is shocked as he didn't expect Vicky to help Kitama. Riki was standing there, but the pressure of Kitama and the cement causes both of them to fall down. The warden tells his guards that the warden will be arriving tomorrow, so they should erase all evidence of what happened in the prison. He will teach Riki a lesson later. The next day, everyone waited for the warden to arrive. After several hours, no one arrived and they sat down in exhaustion. But then, the warden's car was seen approaching in the distance, alerting everyone. The warden was accompanied by his son. Upon arrival, the warden is informed that an inmate named Riki burned an entire bag of drug strips yesterday. Hearing this, the warden is furious. He is then taken to Riki, who is locked in a cell, his body stuck to the cement. But then Riki breaks through the cement with his body and grabs the warden by the throat. Alas. Seeing this, the warden activates a hydraulic press from above. Riki tries to stop it, but the warden gives him a powerful electric shock, causing him to fall. The press is falling on him at high speed. But then it stops and starts rising again. Then Kitama, still alive, appears. He stops the press and saves Riki, because Riki also saved his life. Riki immediately comes out and begs him to come out too. But Kitama is so injured that he cannot move, and the press crushes him. Poof. As he dies, a photo of him and his mother falls. Mio's. This further intensifies Riki's anger. The warden presses another button and Riki falls into a pit again. Oh. He is then chained in a larger pit. The warden arrives and orders all the prisoners to throw mud on Riki one by one. 2 prisoners refuse, so the warden shoots them. Terrified, everyone begins throwing mud on Riki. The warden says if he survives for 7 days, he will be released. He also plants a bamboo pole so that he can breathe. At night, all the prisoners are in shock. Some leaders come and block the bamboo pole, hoping to kill Riki. But as soon as they leave, Riki breaks it. A flashback then shows his friend, Keiko, returning home from school when some thugs are waiting for her. She tries to escape, but is caught and locked up. The boss wanted to kill her, but she escapes and jumps off the building and dies. When Riki finds out, he is devastated and kills the man responsible for his death, Ama. He was in prison for this very crime. 7 days pass, and Riki is released. Everyone thinks he's dead, but he's alive. Then the girl comes and shoves a blade into his mouth and repeatedly slaps him, filling his mouth with blood. The warden. But Riki throws all the blades at her, which end up in his mouth. Consequently, he is put back in the dark cell. That same day, a prisoner sneaks in to give him food, but is caught and killed by the warden. The warden comes to Riki's cell, but he's missing. In reality, Riki is clinging to the ceiling. As soon as the warden arrives, Riki attacks him. Coming out, he sees the dead prisoner and is furious. The warden runs away, but all the prisoners surround him below, and a fight breaks out in the prison. The warden is roaming around when a prisoner says something and he cuts off his arm. Just then, Riki arrives. The warden shoots at him, but Riki turns him towards someone else, and the bullet hits him. Then, the girl and Brandon attack Riki. Riki falls into boiling water. The girl attacks him, but Riki breaks his leg. Brandon runs, but the warden shoots him too. Now the warden and Riki face off. Riki kicks him and throws him against the wall. Then, the warden transforms into a huge monster with special powers. He beats Riki, but Riki picks him up, boosts him into a grinder, crushing him. Finally, Riki picks up his severed head. On the other side, all the prisoners and guards are fighting. Riki arrives and shows everyone the warden's head, declaring, "You're all free." He then breaks down the prison wall, freeing all the prisoners, and this is where the story ends.